and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Schrum is here by Zoom today, as well as our attorney, Matt Shipman. Okay. So we'll go ahead and open up the bids for the highway department on their new trucks.
So I can start. I have a bid from Cell King International Trucks. Looks like the total net price would be $234,498.02.
I have a bid here from Center State International Trucks, and I'm going to assume that this is for one truck and not two, because the price is $116,899. So I'm gonna assume we double that.
Yes. If not, we'll buy 4.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we have one here from W.A. Jones for $211,978 for two. So I'll move that Brandon takes a look at these and reports back to us at our next meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, next item on the
Teresa, do
agenda.
you want to call for a vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. And we do have to do roll call vote today since Commissioner Schrumpf is attending via Zoom. Commissioner Schrumpf?
He raised his hand, so I'm gonna say yes. But I'm not sure. I text him. I'm not sure why he can't.
Sound isn't working. Okay. Commissioner Banks?
Aye.
Commissioner Green? Aye. Motion carries. We'll move on to Attorney Shipman, if his sound is working.
So now it just says he's still.
All right.
Here we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Perfect. Yeah, I think Jenna, you had to unmute me and I'm good now. So the only thing I have to report is that we did close last week on the Armstrong property. That all came together. The deed's been recorded. And so we are officially the owners of that property now. There is a couple other things that are on the agenda later that I did review, but that's the only thing I have to report. We are going to be redoing the interlocal agreement with Solid Waste District, and likely at our August meeting after Solid Waste gets that approved, or maybe our second meeting in August, we'll have to ratify that as well. But unless you guys don't have questions for me, I don't have anything else to report.
Matt, have you looked at that interlocal agreement for solid waste?
Yes, I did. I actually sent a revised one out over the weekend. They just updated the dates. I don't know if you guys got that, but I sent it out on Sunday, I believe, or maybe Saturday.
Okay, and did the rates change or?
I didn't change them. I just kept it the same, but we certainly can have that discussion. in case you guys didn't want to make changes, I wanted to make sure you had one for solid waste this afternoon, but we can always update it and change it if ultimately, if that comes out of tonight's solid waste meeting that you would like to look at that and change it, just let me know. I'll get that changed and we'll get it updated and for the next solid waste meeting.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Banks?
I don't have anything for him.
Okay, and then just to recap, if you couldn't hear very well, the first item dealt with the property that we're going to be putting the new jail on. So we finally closed on that over by Armstrong Drive. And then the second item had to deal with our recycling in the county. Next item on the agenda, Craig Wagner, unsafe building hearing update.
Yes, when I was here last meeting.
Can you come up there and state your name, please? Thank you.
When I was present at the last meeting, the commissioners asked me to make contact with the owner at 709 North State Road 5. And I did send him a letter and I've not heard anything back. I will tell you that as of this morning, there was some cleanup on the lot outside, but I haven't heard anything about the progress towards demolition on the house.
So are we just waiting on bids for that? I know there was a 60-day, we should
60 day
be.
has to expire, then we have to give the owner of the property 10 days notice that we're going to issue advertisement for bids. Before that's done, then once that's passed, that 10 days, then we issue a public request for bids on the demolition.
And when is the 60 days up? I feel like it's coming up. The 6th?
Let's see here. It'll be August 8th.
August 8th,
Well,
okay.
August 7th, actually, for the 30 days, 60 days.
And then, so I'm assuming the next business day, you sent him a letter on
Yep.
requests for bids? Okay.
It doesn't always get out right the same day, but usually get that written up, have the staff get it advertised in the paper, so we meet the statutory obligation. Then once that period is up, then we go ahead and put that in the paper for bids. Contractors contact us, and then we go from there. Those bids come back here to this board.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I don't think, was anybody here in regards to the pitch matter? No. I asked them to come down and talk to you about that. If you have any questions. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, prepay rent agreement with PP Development LLC.
George doesn't have any audio, does he?
He does. He is self-muted, so I just need him to unmute himself.
While we're waiting, I mean, I can speak to it. I think I have enough of an understanding that this agreement is basically an agreement with redevelopment and PB investment to construct a road. The initial agreement was that we would make payments in a lease, and at the end of that lease agreement, then we would own the road that was constructed by that developer. But instead, we have the funds available, and redevelopment will be reimbursing the Board of Commissioners. So we're going to pay for this in one fell swoop, and then receive reimbursement from redevelopment for the road. So if George has audio and I've said anything wrong, or if Dale, if you have anything to add.
Is he still muted?
Can you hear me now?
There we
There he
go.
is.
Okay. No, as far as I'm concerned, you did a good job on that. We're just, this is just an authorization to reimburse us, to prepay the reimbursement.
I feel completely comfortable with doing so. I mean, I would make a motion that we approve the agreement to prepay the rent.
I'd make a second.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we will go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Schrumpf,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Aye.
Commissioner Green, aye. Okay, next item on the agenda, Scott Wagner, well exemption request.
Good afternoon. I got two for you here. I think I put the same address on both, so we'll make that disclaimer. I have one for Patrick and Melissa Smith at 1995 East Bear Road. You saw that the letter from the well driller, that they'll be able to get in there and do that. If you so agree, they'll sign a liability release for the health department and for the commissioners and have that recorded. The second one is for Lane or Lanny Thorson, and that is at actual correct address is 2385 West 700 North. And that is for a room addition on the house. Along with the, again, you see the letter there from the well driller. And they'll sign the paperwork as well. I'll make that correction in the office. Any questions, though?
No, I had a chance to review both of these. Do you need these in a separate motion? You need them handled separately, or can we?
You can send them both if you like, it's fine.
I would move that we approve both. I've reviewed and I feel very comfortable with them.
I'd second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll go to roll call vote. Commissioner Schrumpf,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Aye.
Commissioner Green, aye. Motion carries.
Anyone have-
Peterson Consulting
Uh,
Engagement.
Can we back up 1 second?
Do you have anything else for me?
I just had a question. What are you hearing about the rapid spread of COVID or whatever, and the variants that they keep talking about in the news? Do you have your ears to the ground on that?
Whitley County has already had people with that variance. I think it has over 200 people with that variant. They're not having any more severe symptoms or death because of that. We did spike a number of 11 last week. So, you know, I don't know if that's because a family went and got tested and they're all positive or what it was. But we're not having significant increase in cases.
Yeah, okay, good,
We're going to see them more out.
perfect.
I did send you copies of the link to the Allen County ordinance for hotels. Didn't know if you wanted to talk about that now. Did you want me to bring that before the health board? Did you want me to work on something?
I think we all three have had a chance to look over what Allen County's done. So I guess just to update the public, we've gotten some calls and concerns on some hotels in the city. And we do not have a standing ordinance on how we handle that. So we will be looking into passing something like that. So I think when George gets back, maybe we can take a closer look and obviously come up with something unique that fits Whitley County.
And I think in the meantime, the health board still meets this month, right? They haven't met yet this
We
month.
actually meet in June because of the budget. So
Okay,
I won't meet again until October. But I will
Gotcha.
work on something that maybe would be more suitable for Whitley County and see what you think about that.
perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Peterson Consulting Services engagement letter.
This is the same agreement that we receive every year from Peterson Consulting. It is for me to be able to do our Gatsby report, which is what, it's all of our assets, our equipment, our roads. Brandon fills out part of it for the highway department for roads and drains. And what they do is they have this big report, we fill in the information, they do the depreciation and everything for us, and then they give me the report that I need to upload to Gateway to State Board of Accounts at the end of every year, to just report to them, so for our annual financial report. So, and I don't know if Matt's looked over it, if he has any thoughts on it.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I did look over it and it looks fine. It's exactly the same as before, so.
So Jenny, you need a motion to accept. And would that require just one signature?
Yeah, it is just one signature.
I move that we accept the agreement and allow for Vice Chair Green to sign in George's absence.
Is George muted again?
I didn't mute him.
Okay.
George, I think you just need to unmute yourself. It still says he's self-muted, so I'm not sure.
Can he hear you?
So,
Okay, well, we'll second that motion and see if he can vote by raising his hand then.
okay, he raised his hand. Yep,
Okay,
he did.
so I've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, I'll go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Schrumpf,
And
Commissioner Banks,
I'm an aye.
Commissioner Green, aye. Motion carries.
Can you hear me? Hello?
yep, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Don't know what happened.
Brandon Forrester, Highway Department update and no parking ordinance.
So first I'll talk about community crossings for our first call from January. We awarded Brooks Construction to repave Raver Road and 650 West. They're gonna start about mid-August with that project. And the date on that is September 15th, I believe. So I've been working on the application for the July call for community crossings. And that application is due July 30th. As part of the application, I have to have a financial commitment letter from the chairman of the commissioners, is what NDOT says. I'm not at this point completely prepared to tell you a dollar amount that we need to commit to financially, but by the end of the month I would be. But since you won't be meeting, I am asking if you could give me that commitment for a dollar value to not exceed 300,000. And then I would, when I get that dollar amount, I will have then authorize the chairman to sign that if you would do that. And keep in mind also that Allen County has committed to the 800 East project, which scope is still in flux. And then Larwell also is committed to the 100 North project. So my request would be a verbal commitment, or a commitment or an authorization to authorize the chairman to sign a letter of commitment for not a value not to exceed 300,000.
Okay, I'll make that motion. I move that we authorize a letter of financial commitment to not exceed 300,000, and that Chairman Trump or Vice Chair Green sign that letter.
Is George muted again?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? We'll go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Shrum,
Aye.
Commissioner Banks.
Aye.
Commissioner Green, aye. Motion carries.
Okay, so not only do we have truck bids due at noon today, we also had letters of interest due for our federal aid ADA sidewalk and curb ramp project. We did receive 6 proposals from A&Z Engineering, Abbenmarsh, American Structure Point, Beam Longest and Neff, DLZ Indiana, and USI. I have those in the back. It wasn't set to be opened. It's just they were due at noon. But I did want to publicly recognize the firms that did propose. We will need to establish a scoring team of at least 3 people. Doesn't matter who. So that will be the next step, and I'll get with you all, or if you want to establish that committee or at least be thinking about it.
Sure, we'll take it under advisement.
When are you going to open those proposals?
Anytime, we can open them now, or we can wait till the scoring team is established, and just, it wasn't set for it to be a public, it's not like a bid, it's just a proposal.
Yeah, we can definitely take that under advisement. I might want to sit on that committee just to see how you guys score those. I haven't done that yet, so.
I'd also like to be on that committee.
A lot of interest. I'll sit out this time. I did it last time.
I've got a great 3rd member in mind. Okay, the only other thing I had was no parking ordinance. George, I believe, was wanting to hold off on that, but
George, did you want to speak to the no parking ordinance?
Yes, that's, we've had an issue out on Lincoln Way East, and it's been at the Union 12, there's been some issues with the parking on the side of the road. I have talked to a couple of the owners there. They're working to come up with some kind of a solution to the problem here. And I told them that we'd hold off on the ordinance until it gets to the point where they can't find any kind of a solution. So I'd just like to hold back on the ordinance for another at least 2 weeks.
Is that a motion to table it, George?
Yes, I'd like to table it till the next
second.
meeting.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Shrum,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Aye.
Commissioner Green, aye. Motion carries.
and then the big news at the highway, next week, hopefully weather permitting, we'll start chip sealing. We're a little behind schedule, but we had some trouble getting stone, but the tentative plan is to start next week chip sealing, so folks will be seeing us out there blocking their roads for short periods of time. Hopefully not inconveniencing anyone too badly. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Next item on the agenda, payroll and accounts payable claims. I looked all of that over this morning. Everything looked to be in order. There weren't too many for the last couple of weeks. So I would make a motion that we approve both payroll and accounts payable claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Roll call vote. Commissioner Schrumpf,
Aye.
Commissioner Banks.
Aye.
Commissioner Green, aye. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is previous meeting minutes approval.
I've had a chance to review the previous meeting minutes and move that we approve them as presented.
I have a motion to. Go
I'll
ahead.
second. Sorry.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote. Commissioner Schrumpf,
Aye.
Commissioner Banks.
Aye.
Commissioner Green, aye. Motion carries. And then just briefly on the agreement to prepay for the road that we previously talked about, there's only room for one signature. So Commissioner Banks, if you would be so kind as to amend your motion
I believe
to.
my motion was for you to sign in
I think
George's
that was the
absence.
next one.
Okay,
there was-
I amend my motion for the PB agreement
Is that right?
for Teresa to sign.
Yeah, I didn't, yeah, the one for Peterson. I had
Okay,
that.
yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of. We did one immediately after this. Okay, I've got Commissioner Banks amending his motion for the prepay agreement. Commissioner
And
Schrumpf, do you second?
Yeah, I'll second that amendment.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote. Commissioner Schrumpf,
Aye.
Commissioner Banks.
Aye.
Commissioner Green, aye. Motion carries. Jana, do you have it marked where I'm supposed to sign on these?
I think it's like the second or third page, actually. Yep.
Mhm. Okay, Commissioner Schrumpf, do you have anything else?
No, I do not.
Commissioner Banks,
I have a few things.
go ahead.
First, I want to say thank you to Nathan Bilger for fixing our mixer board this morning. We had a lot of technical issues and we weren't able to meet in this room, but Nathan is a smart guy and he was able to troubleshoot and fix the problem. So we really are grateful. Second, the 4-H fair is happening now. If you haven't been down to support the youth of the county, I highly recommend it, especially on the auction days, Thursday and Friday, I believe. Please support our youth in 4-H. They are really impressive and it's just a great thing for the youth to be involved in. And third, our community lost a pillar last week, Tom Cormany, who was a 2-time county councilman, member of the board at Faith Christian Academy, and just all around involved in making our community better. So I just wanted to send our condolences to Tom's family. And the last thing is a question for the other commissioners about an email on Lori Shipman's contract that Jana had kicked around. Lori Shipman does our grant writing, and there was some discussion about whether or not there was a need to renew a new contract or if we could just go month to month. And I know that didn't make the agenda, but I still just wanted to have a quick discussion about it. Personally, I'm not in favor of renewing a contract, but rather going month to month for her services. And I'm totally fine with her continuing those services. I would like for us to be on the same page as far as the billing. I know there's been a request for detailed billing. And furthermore, I would like to see like metrics. I would like to see a cost benefit analysis, if you will, about how many grants are being written and how many grants have been awarded, and just what it is that we're paying for month over month, because we're very grateful for the work that she's done. But I just think it's time that we start to review what's being done now.
Has anyone spoken to Lori?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. I think we should have a conversation with her. I'm completely okay with going month to month. And I think granted, it's a big deal that she should actually come to these meetings and maybe update us and the public.
If I recall, Jana, did you happen to request more detailed billing?
I think
thought so.
a couple times I did really ask, because I think it just is a one line on the invoice, and with State Board of Accounts, we have to have a little bit more detail on what we're paying for. So, I mean, I know she's been here, and I know she's been working with emergency management and things like that, so, but yeah.
I could, can you guys hear me?
Is someone trying to say something?
I think Matt's talking.
Matt,
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear me or, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
we can hear
Can you
you.
guys hear me okay? I could, yeah, she's not sitting here with me, so I can't ask her the questions, but I can absolutely say something to her about coming to the next meeting and putting that together for you. Some kind of metrics of what she's working on and that sort of thing.
That'd be great.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
So maybe just table the contract, I guess, at this point, because it's really a month-to-month thing. I think the way the contract was previously written, it just would turn into a month-to-month. So we don't necessarily, unless there's a long-term commitment, even need the contract.
I don't think there's anything to like formally table though, because there's nothing on the agenda. So we'll just.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
George, did you have anything to add on Lori Shipman's contract or moving forward working with us?
I agree with both of you on that one, that, you know, and I know Lori's got all that information together. All we just have to do is, if we go to a month-to-month contract and get reports from Lori every once in a while, I think everything will be fine.
Thank you. I just had a couple things. Commissioner Banks and I went on a jail visit 2 Fridays ago,
I think so.
about a week and a half ago. And that was our final jail visit. And we should be making our selection on our firm to hire them to design our new jail. Secondly, I presented the internet proposal from Warsaw Fiber to council at the last meeting, where I gave the commissioners report. I'm also going to be reaching out to REMC. I believe that we might be able to partner with them as well. And then my awesome EDC director, Dale Book, has been helping a lot as well, which I appreciate. Thank you very much. And then also Circuit Court reached out to me and said that they really need to know what our 2022 holidays are, because they're actually moving their jury trials from this year that are so pushed back because of COVID into 2022. And it's hard for them to set those if they don't know for sure what our holidays are. I know last year we didn't have an election, so I would be okay. Obviously in 2022, we will have election days. So I'm okay with what we had last year, just adding back in the primary and the general election on that. But obviously that's something that we can all look at. And Jana, is that something that you prepare and bring?
It is
Okay.
normally something I prepare, and I was also this year, so Cammie knows what I normally try to do. I was just gonna get with her so someone else knew, you know, what
Okay.
I was.
Do you think that's
Yeah,
something we can have
and
for the
that's
next
fine.
meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Thank you. We appreciate it. That was all I had. Is there any public comment? Okay, we will adjourn.
Thank you.
I mean,